Now we're going to use our anchor chart to answer some questions about our story, because good readers ask questions. First, we're going to start at the beginning of our question mark, and we see the word who. Who are the characters? Who are the characters in Stand Tall, Molly Lou Melon? Remember, characters are people or animals that are important in the story. They may talk, or they just might have a part in the story. They may be a main character, or they could just be a character that we see throughout the story. So we know the main character is our girl, Molly Lou Melon. And we're going to describe her in a little bit. Some other characters I'm thinking about are Grandma. Grandma was an important character because she helped Molly Lou Melon figure out who she was. And then at the end of the story, we saw this friend, Ronald Durkin. He wasn't a friend at first, was he? But then the story turned and had a good ending where they became friends. The next question is what? What is happening? What is happening in the story? I think Molly Lou Melon's kind of figuring out who she is, and Grandma helps her to do that. I think Ronald Durkin kind of helps her to do that too, even though she probably didn't like him too much at first. When is the story taking place? So we could look back in the story. When might be a season. When might be a time of day. When might be maybe how old Molly Lou Melon is. It looks like she might be about your age. And the season looks like it might be the start of school, because I'm not seeing. Sometimes we see fall trees or signs of the season. This book didn't really show that, so we're not too sure. The next question is, where is the story happening? So this story had several different settings. The setting is where the story is happening, or where it takes place. Where we started out at Molly Lou Melon's house, and then she had to move. Remember that in the story? So the where changed, and she had to go to a new school. So some of the setting took place at her new school with her new friends. And why is it happening? I think the why in the story would be because Molly Lou Melon had to realize that she's super unique, just like she is, and super special. That's why I like this story so much. And how do you know? I can go back in my story and I could find proof of how I know. I know because at the end of the story, she was just as good with who she was, and her confidence grew, and she wasn't worried about Robert Durkin a bit. So I hope you enjoyed doing those questions with this story, and we can do these questions with any story. We call them the 5 W's and 1 H, because we notice that each of these words begins with a W. Oops, and it wants to fall down. It's on a magnet. Oh, who, what, when, where, why, and how. We'll be using this anchor chart with lots of stories throughout the year. Now I'm going to pull this down, and I'm going to write with you a sentence about Molly Lou Melon, describing her. When I get ready to write, I think first of what I want to write about, and then I write it. I use my sounds that I know. I might use word-wall words that I know. And our job today is to describe Molly Lou Melon. If you were here with me, I'd be asking you what you thought, and we could take some ideas down. But I'm just going to model that I think Molly Lou Melon was brave. When I think of her, that's a word that I think of, brave. So I'm going to start with a capital letter because that's how I begin my sentence. And I'm going to use a capital I, and when I is by himself, he's always capital. I. Now I'm going to leave a finger space between my words so that I can read my sentence. I think. I'm going to listen for what sound I hear. TH makes that th sound. Think. I hear a K at the end. It's kind of hard to hear these other letters in the middle. Think. There's an I and an N in that word that it's hard to hear, kind of. I think that. Oop, I'm going to leave another finger space. That also has a TH. At. Oh, I hear a word we might know in that word. At. So I'm going to write that. I write what I hear. I think that, and now I can look back in the story to see her name. Molly Lou Mellon. Molly, she has a capital letter at the beginning of her name, just like you have a capital letter at the beginning of your name. Molly Lou, I think I have enough room here to do her middle name. Lou begins with an L. Molly Lou, and then I don't have any more room left. Where am I gonna go? Oh, back at the beginning. And I'm gonna do Mellon. It also begins with an M. Mellon. I'm gonna reread what I've written so far so I know what I want to put next. I think that Molly Lou Mellon is, I have to leave another finger space, is, that's going to be one of our words we're going to know. I-S. Molly Lou Mellon is, leave another finger space, brave. Hope you're helping me. Tell the letters you hear. We're going to do this together when we're live one day. I hear an R. A, oh, A saying his name. Brave. And then I'm going to put a period. That means to stop. That's the end of my sentence. So I can't wait to see what you think Molly Lou Mellon is. Maybe you might say she's a great singer. Maybe you might think that she's a great snowflake maker. Maybe you think she's beautiful, even with her buck teeth that she's not too sure about. Maybe you think that she's special because she is, and so are you. I hope you have a wonderful day, and I hope you enjoyed Stand Tall Molly Lou Mellon and our writing lesson, and I will get to see you in the morning at 8 o'clock. Have a great one.